Hey everybody, this is Brandon with AZ Guns. Going to help you fill out your Form 4. This particular Form 4 is for a trust or legal entity. When you get it, make sure the $200 box is checked, that the trust name and address, this is area you're going to start filling in, make sure that is accurate and you do not abbreviate anything. The trust name appears exactly as it does on the paperwork. The trust or legal entity is checked, and make sure you put in the county trust is registered. This section should be filled in by your shop, as should this one. Make sure it's complete and accurate. You can ask to see your weapon or your suppressor and get the model and serial number off of them. Make sure this is complete as done by your gun store, and that the shop manager has signed, put his name and dated here appropriately on the first page. On the back of that first page, we include the chief law enforcement that you're going to be notifying, the name of the law enforcement officer, and the address of that agency. You can fill out section 13 as the trust, so you're going to include that name again exactly as it appears, and you can include a purpose like hunting or sport shooting, but just make sure that you put in the phrase all lawful purposes as well. That tends to be the catch-all that gets you your approval. You do not need to fill out this section as you are a legal entity and not a person, and you're going to sign it as yourself, the trustee, and date it with the accurate date. On the top of the next page, there's a question asking the number of responsible persons. That will come from the instructions on the back of this page during section 1E. You're going to list all of those people here, and each one of them will require the additional responsible person questionnaire, which we'll cover in a second. You're going to fill out how you're going to pay here. In this case, we put personal check or cashier's check or money order, the total, sign it, and date. And that form is pretty much complete. You're going to do the exact same thing on the next couple, only these do not have the payment information, and they say who they are to go to. So this one goes to Chief Law Enforcement, this one goes to the ATF as a second copy, and the second one is actually what you're going to get back. And as you can see, the only difference is this grayed out area where you would have put in your payment information. It's not required, but we suggest you include this certificate of compliance. Fill it out as the trust. Trust name, again, not abbreviated. Your information for last, first, and initial, middle initial. The country of citizenship, again, your country. And then answer these following questions as they apply to you. Sign it as the trustee again, and date it. And we just suggest you include that with your forms to the ATF. Obviously, as you mail the 3 Form 4s, 2 of them go to the ATF and 1 will go to your Chief Law Enforcement as notification. You're going to include, for any of the additional responsible persons, this form, which will be checked Form 4, the trust name, not abbreviated, the trust address as it appears. Then the individual you're adding, their name and their personal address, their personal phone number, email if you choose, and any other names. All of this section comes from your Form 4. We've included the sections that information comes from, and you'll include a passport photo. Pretty easy. On the back, there's a questionnaire that you do have to fill out this time as an individual, and it will relate to each individual person filling it out, signed and dated. This trust responsible person questionnaire is done multiple times, again because 1 copy goes to the ATF and 1 copy goes to Chief Law Enforcement. You're going to want to be sure to include your 2 copies of fingerprints for each responsible person, and you're also going to want to include a notarized copy, a copy of your notarized copy of your trust. It does not actually have to be wet signature document. So make sure you include your Form 4s, your certificate of compliance if you so choose, any responsible persons, which will include 2 copies of the fingerprints for them, and then a copy of the notarized copy of your trust. Thanks a lot.